Hello, everyone. Welcome. Sorry, we're a tad late. We were just jigging about a few bits and pieces, but it'll be worth it, I promise. Yeah, we are here. Another wet, cold Thursday here in dear old Blighty.
It's been
hello.
a bit of a rotten day.
It has. It's been pissing down all day.
Yeah.
So we got Dan. Hello. We
Okay.
got Ryan and Toy Mafia. Hello.
Chaps.
So we are going to start every show like we do by thanking Mr. Watto. And I bet you all thought I was going to forget again, but I didn't. Not this time.
Well, the only thing you forgot is you haven't played the disclaimer.
Oh, fuck it. Fuck that.
Well, now it's too late now because you've just sworn 3 times.
Exactly. Everyone fucking knows what they're in for now.
Yeah.
So Wattos. What can we say about Wattos? They are amazing, legendary. They do so many different sculpts. They do Kenner vehicle parts. Like, honestly, if you want a head sculpt, if you want a head sculpt, you want something done, go see them. And if they don't have it on their books, they can do it for you. Yeah, Sean is a legend. Give him a shout if you want anything. Yeah, I think that's about it for him.
Yep.
I don't know what more we can say about the legendary man.
No, that his work speaks for himself.
It does. Yeah. It does indeed. So, Pete, show me what you got.
Okay. I haven't got any figures this fortnight, unfortunately, or anything. I've got something that I might get tomorrow, but I'll save that for what will be our Christmas show, I suppose.
New Year's
time. So we've got the 4K box sets of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit here. I think we talked a while back when they announced these, and I was getting a bit frustrated because I couldn't get hold of these steel books, because I thought at the time they were just Savvy exclusives, and they put them up for sale at midnight. And by the time I got the email at 6 a.m, they'd all sold out, and I was like, "Fuck it off." They do this all the time, you know. Who do they expect to be up at that time of night? Not the hard-working, honest chaps like us, but the people, you know, spending someone else's money on it. So I got a bit pissed off when we talked about the fact that I think Best Buy were doing these, and I was, you know, thinking, I'll try and get Zach or something to get them. But then I just happened to Amazon would do, so they weren't exclusives. So I managed to pre-order them on Amazon. So they're really nice. So they're in a tin. That's metal tin, and then inside that you've got separate steel books for the different movies. So as it says on there, you've got the theatrical and extended films. Have you watched these theatrical, extended?
I'm not sure what version I've watched, because I think I've seen them all a couple of times, but I'm not sure what versions I've actually watched.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've watched the theatrical of The Hobbit, and Lord of the Rings. I think I need to give it another go, because I think I've watched the first one. Well, I've watched bits of the first one a few times and gotten bored and then not bothered watching anymore. And then I think the others I've all watched once.
Yeah.
I have no idea what versions.
So the Lord of the Rings really benefit, I think, from the extensions. So they were about 3 hours each theatrically, and I suppose you've got a bit of a limit as to what you can kind of expect people to put up within the cinema. So they came in at just over 3 hours, I think. But the problem with Lord of the Rings is obviously it's 3 massive books, so to squeeze that into 9 hours was quite a push. So they had to kind of ditch quite a lot of material that actually really kind of fleshes it out and adds some real value to it. So they're about 4 hours each. I've done the marathon a few times in the past, before kids and all that, and they're fantastic. I absolutely love them, and obviously you've all seen my display, like with my Asmus figures and stuff like that. Hobbit is a bit of a travesty, really, compared to Lord of the Rings, because they kind of went the opposite way. So they took a little paperback that was about that thick and made 3-hour films out of it, and then you've got the extended versions, which then takes them to about 4 hours each, and it's a bit of a slog, because to stretch out the story to that extent, it doesn't really work. And I've got a cool knockoff Blu-ray that someone made called the Bilbo edition. So basically, it just takes because the book's written from Bilbo's point of view, and everything you get from the book is from what he's been told directly. So you don't get all these flashbacks about, oh, there was this battle back here and everything. So it cuts the whole thing down to about 4 hours, and it's really good because it kind of, that's what it should have been. But in terms of a 4K spectacle, I mean, it's stunning. I think it was filmed on digital cameras in 6K resolution, and it was quite controversial because they filmed it at I think it's 120 frames per second, which they did display theatrically, I think, in some place, if cinemas could do it, but I didn't see it. But apparently it didn't work because there's this kind of magic, the 60 frames per second that you see films in. It's a kind of sorry, not 60, 24 frames per second is a standard film, and it gives it a certain look. And if you up the frame rate, you actually tend to lose that filmic look, and they say that it looks like you're watching a cheap soap opera on TV, because you
everything's too clear.
Correct, and you probably see the makeup lines and things like that. So so it looks fantastic, and obviously I still love The Hobbit, and the good bits in it are really good. It's just that it could have been a lot shorter. So with these 4K ones, The Hobbit's fine because it was filmed in 6K, so they have digital masters of that. They're at 6K, so you just downscale that to 4K. The effects would have been probably in 2K, but they were, The Hobbit was 10 years ago, so the effects are pretty decent, and they've stood up okay to the upscaling or downscaling, if you like. With Lord of the Rings, 20 years ago next year, the first one. So the technology was obviously not so good. It was okay, but there's some of the effects, particularly in the last film, where like Legolas is riding on the back of a giant elephant, that looked a little bit ropey. And so obviously they filmed the original camera negatives. They scanned them in 4K fresh for these, but they realized that obviously with the additional resolution, that some of those effect shots looked a little bit ropey,
even worse.
Yeah, so what they've done, and I was watching a little really short sort of 5-minute documentary so Peter Jackson's overseen all of these, and he's basically sat and watched the whole things. And what they've done is they've upscaled it all, and where they've seen that a certain effect looks a bit dodgy, then they've just gone and cleaned it up. So they've not added anything. It's not a Star Wars special edition. They've not added anything, but they've just gone, right, okay, I can see like a dodgy line there or something, or something's out of focus. So they've just kind of tweaked it so it looks how it should have done. It's all been recolor graded. So what he's tried to do is make the Lord of the Rings films, like 20 years old, look the same as The Hobbit. So the same color grading, the same feel, so you can see it as a whole thing. And I mean, I thought I hadn't actually got round to watching them. I thought, as I'm going to talk about them, so I've got Fellowship of the Ring running on the TV now, and it does look incredible. And the Blu-rays that came out a while back, I don't know what happened, because they were also overseen by Peter Jackson, as far as I know, but they've got a really weird like a teal tinge to them. So when you see any scenes that have got snow, the snow looks blue. And I don't know what happened there. It's something to do with the process they used. And a lot of people were up in arms. Well, this has corrected all of that. This looks absolutely stunning now. All the correct colours and things like that. So so this does come with Blu-rays, but I mean, I'm not going to touch them. I'm really pleased with those. I've been they're kind of like one of the holy grails for me in 4K. It's just indie to go, because I've got this, I've got Back to the Future, I've got Jurassic Park, Star Wars. I just need indie now. So, But
Lord of the Rings. I always think I should like it, but I've never managed. I think because they're so long.
Yeah.
And the first one I just find a bit boring in places that I just kind of drift off a bit.
Yeah, I think there's a lot less action in the first one, but weirdly that is my favourite one because I love all the characters and the build up, and that's kind of where all the story kind of builds.
Yeah. And I just find hobbits fucking irritating.
Yeah, they are a bit.
Like I just sit and I think, fucking hell, just stab them in the eye, Gandalf. Like they are just irritating.
The whole point of them is the reason that they are pivotal is because they needed someone to bear the one ring, and if it was a human or a dwarf or an elf, then they'd become corrupted because they'd use it to seek what they wanted. Whereas they say that hobbits they don't want for anything; they're happy, so they don't have that inbuilt desire to kind of
hobbits. So that fucking stupid that they can't even figure out a ring.
Correct.
So that's why they've got it effectively.
Yeah.
They're the idiots of Middle Earth.
They are. But anyway, so they're really cool. I'd definitely recommend those to anyone if you're a fan.
Yeah, I'll try and give them another go over Christmas while I've got like 20 hours to watch them.
Yeah.
Danny Lee.
Fast Forward Hobbits.
When I rewatch Fast Forward the Hobbits, Ryan, I love them in the cinema, but I can never bring myself to watch them again. They're too long. The thing is,
just watch them in bits.
Yeah, true. And joking aside, like that's the length that films are getting to now. Like, so.
Yeah, I mean, these are always going to be long films because there's so much source material in there, and they weren't written with a future movie adaptation in mind, where modern books would have been written. But
I got 20 hours to kill, but no time for charity stream.
Still on
charity starts at home, mate.
So what did you get, mate?
I got The Flash. Bit of a story behind this. So I did say, do you know, a while ago I said I repainted some Harry Potter heads.
Yeah, I saw them. Yep.
Yeah, the guy had a load of issues, and he effectively went. He kept dropping off the radar a bit, and he kept popping back saying, "No, I'm really, really sorry. End of the month, I'll sort you out. No worries." And then I didn't put two and two together. He posted a load of figures for sale, and there was a hand with a tauntaun and all kinds of really cool stuff that I would have jumped at.
Yeah.
And when I clocked it was him, I was like, "Oh, have you still got it?" And he's like, "No, I've only got the Flash left." And I thought, well, I'll tell you what, do you want to swap the work I've done for the Flash?
Look what he's put now. Care package.
We fucking you should pay attention, mate. We spoke about that last week, right at the end of the show. Waved them in front of the camera and everything. He should have stuck around for the entire show.
Yeah.
It's just hurtful.
He should get his ass on here if he's got time to sit and watch us.
Yeah.
He should go for the awards.
Yeah, you know what the fuck they are.
Yeah, go on, mate. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so I said I'll tell you what, I love the Flash because now when they announced this ages ago, I just cunted it off. I really wasn't a fan of it. So I decided I'll give it a go. I'll see what it's like. And it's okay. It just, for a figure that is meant to be running around a lot, the articulation isn't great. The suit's a bit restrictive, and he's really burgundy. Like he's bright red in the film.
Yeah.
So I looked at some photos, and Prime One have just released a statue where I nicked this pose from, and theirs is quite bright red. And I thought I might repaint it once I've got through all the commissions I've got to crack out over Christmas, which is why I've got 20 hours to paint and watch Lord of the Rings. I can I'll give it a go. I'll repaint it, and then I was thinking, because I've got some DC stuff anyway. Like I've got two of the Batfleck Batmans, and I've got some other.
You've owned all of the Justice League at some point, apart from Superman, haven't you?
Yeah, Superman's the only one I haven't had. And I'd really like a Superman. The thing is, Wonder Woman was just, the hair was just fucking awful. So that just went.
Yeah.
Aquaman was just, again, you couldn't pose him for shit. And his hair was gold, which was weird.
Yeah.
And then this, I quite like the suit, but it's just a little, it's a bit unposable.
Yeah.
And Batman, I've completely, saying that, I haven't had a Justice League Batman.
No,
I've got Batman versus Superman Batman.
Yeah.
But
but in terms of the current incarnation of the characters, those actors, you've had them all,
Yeah, so I'm going to give this a repaint at some point. But the way I kind of figured it was a bit of a no-brainer to pick it up. If we've got the new version of the Justice League just around the corner, I'm kind of hedging my bets that the prices are going to shoot up on the Justice League stuff when that's released. So it will sit in my display for a bit, and then I'll decide once the new Justice League stuff comes out whether or not I want to keep hold of it. Yeah, whether or not when the Snyder Cut comes out, if I want to keep hold of it, or if I just want to move it on.
Yeah, it depends on it, because if his character gets fleshed out a bit more and he gets some cool scenes and stuff, then there might be some renewed interest for him.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think the whole Justice League is going to get a bit of an injection.
It's got vacuum with the lack of Marvel stuff. So
so I got that, and we had a little trade as well for a Inigo sculpt. And other than that, it was a pretty dry fortnight.
Oh yeah, I forgot about we should mention that. So I was after another Inigo indie sculpt, because I've got a little plan for a project, and Ian had his smiling one, but he was looking to you were looking to get a serious faced one. So I'd then bought a V3 Inigo sculpt from a guy in France. So I said, "Oh, do you want to swap? It saves me having to, I get one pre-painted. Doesn't cost you any money to paint your one." But the hat was incredibly thin, wasn't it? It was almost it was see-through on the frame. How did you get on with fixing that?
Fine, I did that.
Saw a picture, but I don't know if
I got some air drying clay. And this is the thing: if you've got hats or anything and they're thin, or anything that is thin, get some air drying clay and just build the edge up with it. And then all I'm going to do is sand that down. But it's dried so hard that I'm going to carry it on around the rim.
Yeah.
And just do the other side as well. Because the other side's not bad, but I don't know if you can see, if I hold it up, that you can see the light through it.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Because he warned me about that, and I was like, "Oh, that's fine, it's fine." And when I saw it, I was like, "Fucking hell, that is tracing paper thin."
How they shipped it out like that?
Yeah,
I must admit, I think Inigo's got a new caster, and I've noticed a few people say about hats. Like the actual sculpts are fine, but I've noticed a few people say about the hats being thin or broken. But then,
because you got a V3, haven't you?
Yeah, mine was fine.
Yeah, mine was fine. So whether it's obviously the second batch that they did, but whether it was just an anomaly, just a one-off or whatever. But luckily you managed to fix it. So
so I'm going to do the Temple of Doom indie.
Yeah, so you can do the
next on the list,
scratches and the bruises. And
things. I've got all the bits, so I might as well.
Yeah, I think so.
And then the World Box body turned up as well today. So that's on my Raiders indie with the Irish set, and that shirt fits really well on it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it's a really nice body. My only criticism of the body is you can't lower the shoulders.
No.
But then I was thinking, if you look inside, it has the joint for them to lower. So again, I think if we cut underneath the armpit, we could drop those shoulders.
Yeah.
But that's a job for another day. I've got too much to do.
You're fine though, because it's quite narrow shouldered. It doesn't look. It looks fairly natural for Harrison Ford to me. It's not got big beefy shoulders that that stick out the jacket. It is actually a really nice fit for that outfit. So and at the price, great body.
Yeah, 40 odd quid, something like that.
Yeah,
wasn't too bad.
I think. Yeah,
I've noticed the price of bodies in general has just shot up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think everything now is just just
Yeah,
a
that
lot
one
more
I
expensive.
think is definitely worth the money. It's a good,
Mm.
and I think the hands on it are really good. It's got really good
Yeah,
quality sculpting on the hands, which some of that's always been a bit crap on some of the other bodies I used to buy.
yeah,
Like the JC toys, the bodies were good, but the hands were a bit rubbish. And it's not really an issue because we've all got a certain amount of spare Hot Toys hands, but you tend to run out of trigger fingers and
yeah.
things like that.
You end up with hundreds of fists.
Fists, yeah. There's very few figures that work. I mean, your Flash there works with the fists, but most of the time you're not using the fists.
No,
So,
there's not a great deal you can do with the fists, to be fair.
no.
Unless you're doing that kind of Obi-Wan pose, there's not a great deal you can do with them.
Which one's that? Show me.
What, the Obi-Wan pose?
This one.
No.
It goes like
that. No. Where he's standing on Padme's ship, isn't he? And he's standing with his hands on his.
Oh, okay,
his
yeah.
hips.
I suppose, yeah, I've seen a few of those.
You know, it's the motherfucker, I'm here pose. Yeah. But yeah, there's those, and it's weird because not a lot of companies can do a decent relaxed hand either.
No.
They're either like that, which is who fucking relaxes
and they
their
look
hand
huge
like that?
as well, don't they? That's the problem.
Massive.
When
That's
they're opened
why
out, they look huge.
That's why I liked the Gang Hood Asian bodies, the small ones.
The smaller hands, yeah, because I've used those for my Lukes, and they're perfect because he's obviously smaller. But actually, you have a look at the I think the relaxed hands on the body you just got are better.
Yeah,
because I had swapped out on my Bespin hand custom. He's got a relaxed left hand, and it's fucking massive, and I hated it. And then I got one of those, and I was like, actually, that looks better. And I put it on, and it's definitely better. It's definitely,
They have like it's almost like a sword holding hand.
Yeah,
it's that weird shape.
Yeah,
and that's quite good for the whip and stuff.
Yeah.
They're really good bodies, to be fair.
Yeah. So that's a JX01 that body.
So that was it, and I should have a few new bits for next time as well.
I love it. I definitely have a couple of bits for whether I'll get my fucking Mando or not. I don't know. That's
I won't. So bad for you.
I know, but the thing is, I think in a way it's quite good because I know you lot are all saying no, but I'm going to move it on anyway. So that's quite good in the fact that it gets me, 300 quid back in my, or 250, 300 quid back that I could probably need for other stuff. And I've kind of I've got my enjoyment out of like everybody else's, and like you've done all the mods that I was going to do, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool and everything, but it's almost like it's scratched that itch for me. So I have actually started a pay. I won't go into it too much because it's not his fault. But at the end of the day, we're 8 weeks in. Loads of stuff that's gone out after that has arrived. I mean, I just got one of those bodies a couple of days ago, and it's taken 10 days. So what the fuck has happened to all those packages that left Hong Kong on the 23rd of October?
And plus, if you keep leaving it, you'll go past the dispute.
Yeah. So I've opened it up,
really don't have a choice.
And he's pushing back at the moment. But it's in the process, and I said I appreciate that you're asking me to wait, but I can't wait indefinitely. You have to have a point at which he's going to have to bite the bullet. I said you are running a business here, and I know it's harsh, but you have to have some sort of backup for if stuff does actually get lost.
He'll have to claim on the insurance, won't he?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm not being funny as well. If it turned up tomorrow, you close the.
I'd close the case, or if it turned up, after he'd give me the money, I'd give him the money back. It's not a problem. I'm not looking to scam anybody, but I just don't know where the fuck they are. And I've been chatting with a few other guys that are in the same boat, and they're sort of opened it, got the ball rolling, if it were. So, yeah. But anyway, so then weirdly now I've not even got my first one, and the new one's come out. The Beskar's out.
Yeah, so it's like I started trying to print the parts for it, and then they released this one, which is
you've ordered it, haven't you?
I have, yes.
You have, yeah.
Yes. Now now for everyone listening and not watching, we're talking about the Beskar version of Mando.
Yeah.
So the deluxe for this at everyone's least favorite toy shop,
certainly after this week as well.
Oh fuck me, yeah. Toys Blunderland has the deluxe. So bear in mind, it is the deluxe. 539 quid.
What a bargain!
Talk about going in rough. Like that is unreal. Second batch is 268.
So it's half the price.
Yep. And then standard edition is 220. Absolute piss taking bastards.
Yeah.
So I've ordered mine through Sideshow because my last Mando was 260 all in, and I've pre-ordered the standard edition for exactly the same price. So I'm expecting to pay about 260.
Yeah.
Ryan, is that with shipping? No, with shipping it's $1 billion. Seriously, I don't know. I don't honestly. I don't know anyone fucking uses Toy Wonderland anymore. I really don't. And there's a special relationship between certain people and Toys Wonderland. I just don't get how that would even work anymore.
No.
And I get they provide a service, but 539 quid is more than I paid for my first car. By about 39 quid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it really is pushing the boundaries of what is acceptable in this hobby. When you talk about 500 quid for
the thing is, what makes me laugh is you get people going, "Oh yeah, but they've got it in stock," and I'm like, just get it from Sideshow or a UK retailer or anyone else. Like it's cheaper.
I mean, we all went through a phase where we were happy to pay 10% more to get it early from HK. When you're paying twice as much, you've got to have more money than sense to even think about that.
The figures I really struggled with paying over the odds for was Chewbacca. Now, do you remember when you couldn't get Chewie for love nor money?
Oh, that was a nightmare getting Chewie.
He was released and he was about, I think it was about 160, 70 odd quid.
Yeah, because I had a pre-order with somewhere and they fucked me over on it.
So I paid £300 for Chewbacca.
Right.
And bearing in mind that was 3-4 years ago now. It's never left my collection. No. It will never leave my collection as long as I collect Star Wars. Chewie's staying. Definitely. My Marty McFly was which I got off of Lee. I think that was similar. That was probably about 280 something. Again, never going to leave my collection.
No.
But those now are kind of like standard prices.
Yeah,
when
I know.
You go up to like 539 quid, right? I paid 700 for my DeLorean.
Yep.
You're talking a couple of $100 more for a DeLorean.
Yeah.
And I know they sound similar and are both silver. But fucking piss taking.
Anyway,
look, Ryan's
what
got
do you think of the figure?
The only figure I paid close to that was my
quarter scale. Yeah.
So figure wise, I really like it. Couple of little niggles, and they are only very little niggles. Is that the flight suit is not the right color? The flight suit should be the same color as the first version.
Yeah, I did wonder that. Why
I'm not. I think it's I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on here, but I think it's probably so when they do a Series 2 Mando, there's even more of a difference. Yeah. I watched a couple of reviews and they said when you actually pop the head off, there's some of the original colour behind the neck that's the same as the first flight suit. So that and obviously I think articulation because it's going to be exactly the same.
Yeah. Well, the people that have got them are saying, I don't know if it's just assume, but they're saying, the articulation's better. But I imagine it's exactly the same setup, isn't it? So
I would imagine it's exactly the same. So I really like it. I personally, I don't get the whole I'm going to wait for the Series 2 Mando. Keep this for 2 years, and if you really want a new thigh plate and a knee pad, then fine. Wait 2 years or just pick it up later.
Yeah, so talk me. So and I've seen them all, but I'm not an aficionado on the armor. So talk me through the evolution of the armor. So he's got his original one. Then he gets the first shoulder plate that has the mud horn.
No, doesn't get the mud horn straight away. Right. They offer him the mud horn, and he says no because the child helped him. He gets the mud horn put on it at the end when he gets the backpack and stuff. Okay. So the shoulder pad you get with, which I think I've got on my Mando.
Yeah. Has that on? Has the mud horn?
Doesn't. It's just flat. Has no mud.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because he doesn't get that until he gets the backpack right at the end of the series. So when he gets his armor, he gets this on screen. Yeah. With the smooth shoulder and all that kind of stuff.
So the right leg is not Beskar, but it's not the original one either.
It is the original one,
right?
And that silver is Beskar dripped over it.
Oh, okay, right.
Because if you have a look at his leg,
funny
he's got a bit dripped on that as well.
Okay.
So I think they coated that in Beskar.
Right. Okay. Because he didn't have enough left for the full.
No. And then when you fast forward to series 2, he's now that whole piece on his leg.
Yeah.
Is all Beskar.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it, but I started painting one. Just done black.
Cool.
So he gets that.
Yeah.
Kind of shape. And what he does. Back in there. So he gets that bit, which is all Beskar, and then he also has his knee pad off of his non-Beskar suit. So the Boba Fett type knee pad.
Yeah.
He's got that. Other than that, the armor is exactly the same.
Okay. So this one I'm looking at here. Does he have a mud horn and a non-mud horn? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one, he has that. He has the backpack. A load of different flame accessories, and then if you get the super duper edition, you get the camto, the knife, and the pram with a child that sits inside it.
Okay.
So it's a decent set. It's just expensive. Obviously, it not fucking. Not hold you down and fucking rape you expensive like Toys Wonderland, but it's still a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
So I didn't bother because all the extra stuff I can just print. But yeah, I've got this on order, and it should be, I think, Sideshow's January to March. Okay. So just after Christmas, and I've got it on. I think I pay £60 a month or something for 3 months, and then it's mine. Which isn't a bad way of doing it.
Keep them both.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to keep both. I'm probably going to put a Python on this.
Yeah.
But I'll keep both because I quite like it. I've already started 3D printing some of the bits, so if I want to switch up to Series 2, I can.
Yeah.
But this will be, unless he has a massive change in armor, I'm not going to really. This will be it. I'll just stick with this. I think
some saying that it maybe loses this and he wears the Boba Fett armor or something like that.
I think it's wishful thinking. I think Boba Fett is probably going to wear his armor again.
Yeah.
I think if he was to lose his armor, he'd probably go back and wear the first one, because I think when you look at the end of each episode and they're showing you the artwork for it, I noticed the one with Bo-Katan. And he's holding onto these railings, looking over at the middle of the ship where that thing grabs the cradle. He's in the non-Beskar armor.
Right. Okay.
There's loads of different pictures. You'll notice that he's wearing the non-Beskar armor.
Yeah.
So I think at some point throughout, he was going to have that armor all the way. I think originally the plan was to have him in that armor all the way through until the end of the episode where he got the backpack and everything. Then he would get the whole lot. Because when you think about Hot Toys, they showed IG and the non-Beskar version ages ago, and you got to remember this has happened a few times with stuff where they're shown costume designs and stuff, but no context to it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think we saw this version. Why we saw the non-Beskar version first, because if you think about Hot Toys in general, every other character they ever do, you always get the main appearance of them first.
Yeah.
Whatever they wear the most, and then you start to get the variants further along. But I think because they were shown, this is the Mandalorian, this is what he's going to look like.
Yeah.
And then they didn't get shown the Beskar stuff until the series had started airing.
Yeah.
It might just be me putting 2 and 2 together and getting 6, but I think that's the case.
Yeah. And obviously this one's been massively fast tracked to kind of cash in on that massive Mando fever that's on.
They want to start pumping out the Series 2 stuff quickly as well.
Yeah.
So they're going to get this out so people don't feel like they've been cheated by doing almost a Marvel and going, here you go. But we have to remember, like, this is all owned by Disney now. So even if he has a Series 3 armor, what they might end up doing is just swapping out the boots. Like, that's what they do with Marvel. I mean, look at Captain America. His suit changes very little from film to film.
Yeah. Well, there's no reasons that the Beskar bits he's got are gonna change. He might add some other extra bits, or as you say, he may lose it and have to go back to the other one. I
can't see him losing it. I think this is it. I think we're probably going to get accessories, and we're probably.
Do you think he's going to melt the spear down for some more armor, or is he going to keep the spear?
I think he might keep it for a bit. Thing is, I think he'll probably keep it for a bit, and then we might see it pop up a couple more times, and then all of a sudden, in Series 3, he'll have a new fancy bit of armor or something.
There's got to be a shitload of metal in that spear to get some nice armor pieces out of it.
Yeah,
but it was impressive to see that Beskar can even defend against the lightsaber blade.
Big time. Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
that was really cool.
It was good. So yeah, that was Mando. Yeah,
and then this one, I think the highly awaited Guardians of the Galaxy 2 Gamora. And I think she was in on pre-order for 3 years. I think, wasn't it? From
someone said 94 weeks, something like that.
Right. So,
unbelievable. Unbelievable. If they melt it down, it'd be a good chance to get the armorer back. Oh, I think the armorer is going to come back anyway, because he's going to be pissed off at the armorer. Because by the time Bo-Katan gets hooks into him, he starts taking helmets off and stuff. Yeah, we're going to see that again. But anyway, Gamora, 288 quid.
I was about to say, gosh, it's quite cheap.
Yeah, 228 is not bad. Yeah, 288. It's a bit of a pass for me, but see, I quite like it. In these pictures, the hair looks really good. In some of the other pictures I've seen, it looks a bit Barbie doll dolly.
Yeah. It's always the case. It will come out of the box looking shit, and if you do it right, you can make it look good. But most people won't be able to manage that. I think. It looks good. I mean, the head sculpt's great. I don't know if it's different to the first one. The first one was good.
I think so. I think it's different.
Not so keen on the outfit. Looks a bit like a pirate.
Yeah,
with that funny sort of shirt underneath the bodice.
The frilly shirt.
Yeah. It's a bit, I mean, obviously that's what she wore, but it looks a bit odd. But it's good that they finally, although they never did a Guardians 2 Drax, did they? So people have got to put up with the first one, but not that it'd have been any different because he doesn't really wear much. But it's good for people if they've been waiting for this to complete their lineup. Decent figure, but Marvel's gone by the wayside for me.
That's the thing; they've left it such a long time.
Yeah.
I just don't give a shit anymore. I'm kind of done with Marvel. That's why it's all packed up on top of the wardrobe, ready to be sold.
Right, okay.
Can't be arsed with it.
Have you actually listed any of it yet, or is that just you're going to do that?
Yeah, it's all up on the groups.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
But everyone's selling Marvel, so I can't imagine it will. I can't imagine it will go anytime soon. Even Thanos is up on there.
Yeah,
a whole lot.
He was the one that was holding it back, wasn't it? But you've made the decision to cut him now, and then the rest will all follow.
And the thing is,
I'm sure they'll go, but it's just a long game, isn't it? I think really.
Yeah, I'm not in any hurry, so I'll just leave it. And then there was Toy Era's the Doc Ock came out as well. £181. I know we just said fuck Marvel, but I like this because I really like
this. It's like pre-Marvel Cinematic Universe, so we can kind of go old school on this.
Yeah, I really like the Raimi films. Like Sam Raimi's brilliant anyway, but and they've done us proud on this. This looks really good. Yeah, he's a bit more beefier than I remember.
Yeah, well, I mean, Alfred Molina's not a muscular fellow, but
no. So I think they've reused the body from somewhere.
Yeah,
but on the whole, pretty good.
He's really good, and the film's great, and he's a really good villain in that film. You know, as good as you had Willem Dafoe, obviously in the first one was really good. But yeah, I thought Doc Ock was really good as well, and the figure looks great. I think the reviews have been quite positive on it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd really like Spider-Man to go with it, the Raimi one, but they're just so shit that I can't bring myself to do it.
No.
Yeah.
They'll get to it eventually. If he's in that game, if he's in that Spider-Man game you've played, he'll turn up eventually, won't he?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, but you've got the whole cross-license stuff, haven't you, as well? So
yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we can dream, Pete. We can dream.
Yeah. That's a good thing. And then talking
the So Toys Dark Spider, 162 quid. So I think this is based on. I think this is meant to be a realistic version of the Into the Spider-Verse one.
Yeah, the noir.
Yeah, I mean it's a brave figure, 162 quid, a hell of a lot of pleather.
Yeah.
So generally, I'd still well clear of it if I was in a humid country. But luckily, it pisses down all the time here, so we shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, it's you're tempting fate. How much of that will still be intact in 5 years' time is anyone's guess. But
yeah. I mean, it's a solid release. I like it. And Spider-Man, these kind of quirky Spider-Man figures are quite in at the moment. So
I like the Rubik's Cube. I'd like to get a hold of one of those, especially if it works.
Yeah. Yeah. that'd be worth the 160 quid on its own.
Definitely. Yeah. I haven't seen too much of this. I know that a certain friend of Toys Wonderland has just reviewed it, but I haven't.
He paid for that himself, though.
Oh, it's all his own money. Yeah, it's no. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't like the guy, but I do occasionally look at the. I just want to see the figure. I turn the sound off and just.
Yeah. I don't mind him. He's all right. He doesn't offend me. I mean, to be fair, his videos he gets them in quick, and he covers quite a bit. But a lot of the text is very repetitive. So I just turn the sound off. I generally watch them to see what the figure's like, not to take opinions on. But then again, I do that with most reviews, and I think if I'm really on the fence about something, I won't just watch one review. I'll watch 3 or 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're all a bit different.
Yeah. So,
do you guys find a lot of the third-party figures are creeping up on Hot Toys prices? Kind of.
Then Hot Toys keep moving away themselves, don't they? So, what we were paying for Hot Toys 8 years ago, and now Hot Toys is brushing the 300 mark for basic figures now, which is insane. Isn't it?
I think it really depends on what it is. Like, I think if we look at last time we were talking about the girl from Deadpool. Can't remember their name now. Atomic Mega. Whatever.
Yeah.
That was like 100 quid. Like that was a fairly basic figure, 100 quid. I don't think you can complain about that. I think 160 quid, you can't complain too much. I think when you look at stuff like some of the stuff we've got coming up, and you look at some of the accessory. I mean, look at the Young Rich Miles and stuff like that. You get a shit ton in that box for what you would have paid for a Hot Toys a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think they're where Hot Toys used to be in price, but you're also getting a lot more for your money, and the quality's a lot better. I think if we were talking about like third party 3-4 years ago where they were all shit and charging that sort of money, you'd have the ump.
Yeah, and quite often with the third parties, you get second head sculpts as well, which Hot Toys do not do unless it's like a DX, and even then they don't always. And that would be, a lot of people always say, well, if you had a second head sculpt, it's worth the 250, 300 quid, but they don't often do it. And I think with the third party, you do often get, like a battle damaged and a clean one or something like that, and gives you more options because you can then, kit bash a second figure out of those quite often. So.
I think, if studios come crashing down on third party, I think we could start to see some of the prices get quite expensive.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I'm okay. I'm all right with it. So and then upcoming.
I don't like this.
Yes. No. So this is the Hot Toys Tusken Raider, 230 quid. So 230 quid at Toys One Lane, Q1, Q2, or 192 quid from Sideshow. Normally about 3 months later.
And that's
so the
2022, is it?
Yeah. So the prices here are pretty similar. Wherever you go for it, it's going to be roughly the same. I don't mind this, to be fair.
Go on, tell me what you like about it, and then I'll tell you what I don't like about it.
So I like the way you get the gaffy stick, the rifle, and the weird diamond thing.
Yeah, that's good.
I like the bandoliers and stuff. I like the way you get options with that. The little, to be fair, I think you get quite a lot of accessories.
Yeah.
Albeit it's a bit clean and he's a bit chunky.
Yeah.
But that, and it seems like it's a standard thing now with Hot Toys to take the fat suit out. So I would I would probably take the fat suit out because I think this could probably benefit from the clothes being.
It doesn't. They live out in the desert. They're living on scraps. They're not fat boys. They.
Yeah. So I think if you took the fat suit off, it would probably benefit from everything being too big for it, being a bit baggy. I think that would make it look good, and then a bit of a weather. But I'm quite glad they didn't try and weather it because of how uniform Hot Toys weathering is.
That's the thing. So a lot of people talk about buying 2 or 3 of these, and you don't want them to look. But it's good because they've got enough bandoliers and weapons that you can really mix them up and get a 3 that would look quite different.
Yeah, and I think the head sculpt's pretty good as well. I think I like that.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I'm not too. I think if comparing it to the Sideshow one, and obviously we're talking about different. This isn't A New Hope. This is the Mandalorian. So I'm not saying that they've done anything wrong, and this is probably a good representation of the Mando version. But I just think this one looks a little bit goofy. If you look at the Sideshow one, it looks quite menacing. The eyes are a lot smaller on this than if you look at the Sideshow one. And I don't know. I think it's something to do with the lines around the mouth. It doesn't. I don't like it as much. There's something about it. And obviously, if I was to buy one, I'd want it to be a New Hope version. And I spoke before I owned the Sideshow, but I think if you had both, you could make an ultimate. Because you could use the head sculpt from that. Everything else on this is better quality. I think the bandoliers and the outfit. The other thing is obviously it doesn't. We talked about it before, but the outer cloak has. I thought maybe it had the longer sleeves and the wraps were over it, but it's not. It's actually cut off before the elbow. So obviously you can't use that as a New Hope version. So you'd have to make your own kind of outer robe so that it came down over the wrists. So that was the kind of that was what did it for me, really. That I wasn't sold on the head sculpt, and also that the clothing wouldn't be correct to futz a New Hope version, even with weathering and stuff. So
I think, like, to me, it's always a bonus if you can get it to stand in as a different version of that. But I think because it's kind of like when we were saying about Thanos, and he came with all this additional stuff, and he doesn't come with that because he's not that character. He doesn't come with like he shouldn't come with the Infinity Gauntlet. He shouldn't come with this and that, the other.
Yeah.
I think, like, problem is it's not the New Hope version.
Correct.
So you can't go, well, because technically nothing's wrong.
No, that's what I said.
It's
screen accurate to Mando.
And I can see with the Mando line a lot of people falling into that kind of trap. Like, because we've had it with the IG unit as well. People go, well, the hands aren't quite right. Well, actually, the hands.
Cool. No, and the Scout Trooper as well.
Yeah. Like, actually, they're fine. They're exactly how they should be, because that's how it was in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So it's weird because you get that chance to get these figures that you probably never would have got a chance to have before, but they're not quite the figures that you wanted, because they're not that figure. If you get what I mean, they are the Mandalorian version.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to fill gaps which we all feel that Hot Toys probably should have filled by now. Why haven't they done a Return of the Jedi Scout Trooper?
Yeah.
Obviously, Sideshow did the IG-88, and as far as I know, it was a fairly decent figure. Anyway, and obviously, these Tusken Raiders, people have been crying out for Hot Toys. The only good thing is you could think that somewhere down the line, we might be talking years, that it's not a massive tweak to convert this for Hot Toys to knock out a New Hope version, but then bring it out with C-3PO, because they've never done him either, which is a weird. I don't understand that either. Everybody wants a New Hope Hot Toys 3PO, and they've never even they teased it in the pictures with that deluxe Sartu, unless it was a Sideshow one. We talked about this before. It could have been the Sideshow one.
I think Hot Toys do that. I think they get hold of other figures and they stick them in the promo shots.
So I think there's some massive gaps. Bespin Hand, there's some massive gaps in the original trilogy, and now obviously most of the Hot Toys energy is going into the Mandalorian and the prequel trilogies now.
Yeah.
So people are starting to think, well, we're probably never going to get a New Hope Tusken Raider. So can I make this work? And there's enough different about it that you can't quite make it work, and that's where I'm coming from. But.
Yeah, I mean, I was amazed that, like, the 40th anniversary we didn't get Han.
Yeah,
I thought if we were ever going to get it, that was going to be it. And it wouldn't surprise me if we ended up with a Return of the Jedi Han before we got an end.
Because the only argument that makes sense to me is it's an image rights issue. But then if they did bring out a Jedi one, then that would just put that in the bin, wouldn't it? I'm
not being funny. Like, they could just use the smirking sculpt or the original sculpt, and people would still have it.
Yeah, because they want the outfit, they want a decent outfit, and if you want to get a custom head, we'll talk about that later. There's options out there. At the moment, you're stuck with either the Sideshow stuff, which became better when we got the Hoth top part. Trousers is still a problem, or you pay Yunsil 600 quid for her set.
I don't even think that set looks that nice.
It doesn't. I haven't commented on it because I don't want to kind of make people feel bad, but I don't think it looks any better than the Sideshow Hoth shirt, jacket, and like I've done the old hand trousers. Yeah, I really don't think it looks worth it.
So when you look at the Irish sets we got for Indy, you think, that's better than anything I've seen out that you can cobble together. But every time I see, and everyone keeps pairing it with that fucking Jinx sculpt as well, and I'm like, no, I'm not a fan of that Jinx sculpt.
To be fair, a lot of people have been. I think that's what's got Inigo backed on the Bespin hand sculpt, which we'll talk about later, because a lot of
Yeah, I
people said,
think
"Look,
so.
I've got this set now, and I need a decent head for it." So that's good in a way. That's kind of maybe pushed that on. But yeah. So what else we got?
So
here
we have Toya is the
Beskar.
Unstoppable. Yeah, this I quite like.
Yeah,
The Unstoppable tank. 172 quid at January to March 2021.
Half a meter tall.
Yeah. So this is a lot bigger than any of the juggernauts they've done so far. Half a meter is fucking massive. Fucking massive. Yeah, I really like it. I think it looks great. Where I would put it, I would have no idea.
And who would you pair it with? You're selling all your Marvel. That's the thing. You could have it with Deadpool, but
this would look quite good with the Sideshow X-Men.
Yeah,
like the Wolverine they've just bought out, and the Cyclops and that.
Straight out of a comic book, isn't it? This one.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I mean, and for the price as well, 172 quid for a half a meter figure.
Yeah.
Like
that's a big chunk of figure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive. There's not much more I can say about that. I fucking love it. It's brilliant.
It is cool. I like the fact that they've kind of gone out there with that, and that's
And this is what I think third party are doing really well at the moment, because they're coming out with stuff that people want, and it's a little bit out there. It's not the same stuff. So yeah, really like that.
Yeah, that's cool. I look forward to seeing. When's that out? When's that meant to be out?
That is out January to March.
Okay, so it'd be good to see them turn up in people's collections. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this. So this everyone's been talking about, the Dark Toys Blade Runner Rick, 155 quid, and out July 2021. 2 head sculpts, shitloads of accessories, and this is what we were on about, Ryan. The amount of accessories, 2 head sculpts. You know, and now there's a bit of there's the normal flim flam around the heads are recasted. I'm not sure. I don't know if they are or not. They look familiar, but then again, it's because Harrison Ford is quite a recognizable man.
That's a good likeness. And there's actually been very few that have looked that good. So I don't know whether it's people saying it's an Indigo. It's definitely not Janix. Or there's another guy that did one. That guy that did that indie one recently, and it was like they only did about 80, and people were invited personally to buy one, and it was like $700 or something. He did a Deckard one a few years back, and people say it might be a recast of that, but I mean I don't know. I don't know enough about it to, and obviously people have said, are these the actual clothes, or are these the Yunsil clothes? And they're, it's going to be a bait and switch. It's a difficult one. I know Steve's gone for it, and I suppose at 150 quid, you can take a bit of a chance with it. I mean, I was tempted. I'm not a massive Blade Runner fan. I was tempted to pick it up just for the heads in case they work well for indie. But I haven't ordered it because I don't know. I mean, it looks good, but as you say, will it be that good? Will the stitching be that good?
Yeah, I mean, I like Blade Runner, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I get this. The thing is catch, and this is why Steve kind of pre-orders everything. It's 150 odd quid now. If you don't pre-order it, it comes out and it's as good as this. You're not paying 150 quid. Exactly. You're all paying 250. So and
it's a fair game, because he normally can sell and get your money back because someone will want it. So it's not a risky game. You just got to be prepared that like he's had recently, when 3 or 4 dropped in the same month, you've got to find that cash to or you lose your deposits if you can't pony up the cash. But I'm very interested to see how this turns out. But I don't think I'm going to pre-order it. But
because I like Blade Runner, I'm not a big fan of the follow-up. I watched that a couple of times now.
No, I found that really hard going.
Yeah, I just can't get into it.
No, I know the boys. I know Zach and Dean are massive fans, but I didn't quite.
I mean, Blade Runner is a fantastic film. Love it. The sequel, I'm just not as enamored with.
No.
And I don't know if it's just because I haven't given it a proper chance and I need to sit down and watch it again. But
I think for me, it's because Harrison Ford's not really in it much, is he? He's only really
pops up right towards the
glorified cameo, isn't he?
Yeah, very much so. So yeah, very much looking forward to this.
Interesting. It's very much the same as that Present Toys indie. I'm very interested to see how they turn out when they actually release.
Yes, yeah, same here. So that was that one, and then this thing, the Windsea Studios, Freddie Mercury, about 100 quid.
Spider.
Yeah, about 100 quid. Q4 2020 to Q1 2021. So any time now.
Yeah.
This is a kit to go on the Python body. I think the
it's a
M31.
Yeah, that's what they recommended. Yeah.
Which we've got on the Mando.
Yeah.
I think you said it in the chat. If you've got the head pointing down and in shadow like that, it
looks fantastic, and that's iconic. But that's a forced move to make up for the fact that the head sculpt's not great, is it?
No, I mean I think the other set they do, the head's better.
Yep,
that one.
Yeah,
but it still looks a bit cartoony.
It does. I think there's something wrong with the mouth. It doesn't. The bottom half, the jaw bit, I think is not bad, and it's better than that. Definitely stronger than that one. I think the eyes and stuff are better on this one. It's almost like it's a completely different sculpt of the eyes. I like it. I'm not one of these people. I wouldn't ever be collecting, music artists and stuff. But I know there are people that are into that and like that. And I think again, like all the accessories, the clothing looks fantastic. I mean, the boots and everything looks really good. And for that money, if you get close to what you can see there, then I think you can either futz with the head like in that pose there, which looks fine, or there are custom options out there. But again, it's how good does it come out? And this one, obviously, I think, I mean, if you're talking 100 quid each and you're a big Freddy fan, buy both and then stick this head sculpt on here and kind of just have like an ultimate, because this outfit's, although it's iconic, Live Aid, it's a bit boring, a bit vanilla. Whereas this one, is to me is his kind of iconic look. Buy both and make an ultimate.
I've never been into like music figures.
No, me neither.
There's some real icons that you could probably get away with, like Elvis would be pretty cool. But it just wouldn't go with anything I've got. I'm more movie orientated.
Exactly. And they've tended to be these very high end customs, haven't they? We've seen people do Jimi Hendrix and stuff, and then you're talking like
it was only recently that someone had done one of these. The thing is, I think
Yun still did this clothing kit, I think.
Yeah, and I think lately there seems to be a trend of those real ultra high end stuff just getting grabbed hold of and mass produced.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully they don't do a Stuart Little soon.
That'll come just full circle because we've been ripping shitting on those for years and
ripping on those Stuart Littles.
Yeah. It's coming, mate. It's coming. It's all coming full circle.
Fucking will do, yeah.
So
that was Windsea Studios, and then we have So Toys killing it again. This is the Mr. Butcher figure that they previewed. So they previewed this and some bits and pieces of Homelander, like the bits of the suit and I think a render of the sculpt. I quite like this. I think it looks pretty good.
So is it So Toys? Have they already ripped off that head sculpt we showed 2 shows ago that's not even come out yet? Because apparently that's what they do.
Apparently, that's what everyone keeps saying.
Yeah.
As soon as they show anything, you get people up in arms.
That's my sculpt, yeah.
That's mine. But yeah, I quite like this, and you've got lots of options.
It looks good,
as well.
and if you end up getting a Homelander for whoever ends, makes one of those, then you have a good little display there.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'd like, and I think they've said that if this does well and Homelander does well, they'll start to do a few more other characters. So you could end up with like Black Noir and stuff like that. I think you could end up with a fairly decent line.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. I go for that.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and I also quite like the look of this. So Daft Toys do some quite good sets, and they have just shown off their Two-Face that they're going to do. So we're going to talk about another one later on that's been shown, but I much prefer this one.
Yeah,
I prefer the sculpts, I prefer the clothing, and I've got their Joker. Yeah, the set they did for that, and it's really good. The paint app is okay. I'm going to sort that out at some point, but the paint app on this looks really good.
So why have we got one that's green and one that's red?
Throughout the years, Two-Faces kind of change color depending on who's done it, who's drawn him.
Okay.
So in some cases he's green, in other cases he's red, some cases his hair's white, some cases it's purple. But I'm quite liking this, and because what you'll find that lots of customizers do is they can't be asked really messing around with having two different suit textures, like they've done here. So what you'll generally find is they get like a white suit, or you get a black suit, or whatever, and you just shit up one side, like you just fuck it up. Which I did it when I did it when I had mine. But it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. No,
because why would he purposely wander around in just shitty burnt clothes for the rest of his life, like he's just been set on fire, and he's going to go, nope, not going to take my clothes off, this is it. And yet the other side is immaculate. Rhyme. The Bane is amazing. Got the bank robber Joker on the way. Yeah, I've got the Bane. It is. They're honestly, their clothing sets are fantastic. Well worth picking up.
Is this based on any particular like comic book version of, or is it just a kind of idealized?
The suit looks very familiar. The sculpt not so much. I think it's just a generalized version, but I really like it.
Is the pink one concept and the green one the actual one? How are they? Or do you get the option of both head sculpts, hand?
I'm not sure.
Right.
I don't know. I'm assuming because one is red and one is green that you might end up getting both.
If you've got both, and obviously all you need is a red hand to swap out. And, that'd be good.
It being a preview at the moment, I'm not sure what you would get.
No,
or whether or not they're waiting for feedback.
Yeah, it could be
as to which one people like. But either or,
it looks good. Definitely looks good.
Yeah, I like that. And then
what is this?
So BBK Late Night Killer. This costs you 90 quid, although I don't know why you bother. Q2 2021. The fuck. So you've got a anorexic Michael Myers on the far left, Donald Trump as a pumpkin in the middle, and then the dad from Arrested Development on the right hand side. So I fuck knows what's going on here, Pete.
I don't know what is it, a film or what is it? Is it a cheap knockoff of Halloween? I've got no idea what it is.
No, I'm assuming that it's a pile of shit.
It looks it, yeah.
It just looks awful. It looks like a bad Halloween knockoff. And they've had some extra crap lying around that they've thrown in.
Yeah.
I just
don't understand what that is.
No. Let's move on, Pete. That is awful.
Definitely. We haven't got anything to say about that, really, good or bad.
No. And then we've got this, which is the Black Box Blade Runner Joy 2.0. So they must have done one before, not that I know. 99 quid.
Not aware of it, but yeah.
Wasn't aware of it. but this is 2.0. The 99 quid at January to March 2021. I think it looks good up till you get to the head, and then it doesn't really look like her. But the clothing looks good. Everything looks fine. It doesn't offend me, but it's not the best likeness in the world.
She's a beautiful woman. I saw her. If you've watched Knives Out,
yes,
yeah, she's the Bane girl in that. And I was like, where do I recognise her from? And then I looked up, and it was Blade Runner. And I remember how stunning she looked in that as well.
She can't lie without throwing up.
Yeah, that's the one. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, so me and my missus saw that at the cinema. We really liked it. And as soon as it came on Amazon Prime, I was surprised how quickly it came round. I was like, right.
Yeah, it did come round.
We got to sit down and watch this again. It was fantastic. Yeah. Couldn't do it. We got about half an hour in and we were like, now we know what's happened.
Right, okay. Yeah,
takes the shine off of it.
Yeah. But it was a good movie. And I like her. I mean, she was very easy on the eye. But yeah, this doesn't really, I mean, if you squint and maybe, but how much is this?
This was 99 quid.
I mean,
so
might be worth a punt. If you've got the replicant killer.
Well, what you do is you pick this up and you go to Watto and say, can you please make me a decent sculpt for it? And he will oblige, and you'll have a decent figure, all for under the price of most other figures as well.
Exactly. So,
options. And then back to Two-Face.
Yeah, and they've got the pink and the green as well, which is interesting.
Yeah. So again, I think there's different versions of the character over the years. Some are green, some are red. So this is the M Toys Two-Face. This is 125 quid at Q1, Q2 2021. I mean, look, 2 head sculpts, massive jacket, 2-tone suit, a little table with a load of stuff, briefcase, multiple weapons, multiple hands, coins, knives. What more do you want for 125 quid?
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm super tempted. I'm not a massive fan of the sculpt. I think it's a bit too squinty and a bit too wrinkled on the normal side. But Numo Workshop does a fantastic Two-Face head sculpt. So I'd been tempted to get this and then get that to plonk on it. Impressed with this.
It's funny, isn't it? You quite often get this where 2 companies bring out the same, very similar figures at the same time, which is good because it gives you, gives you options, gives you choice. Or at these sort of prices, you pick up both and use the best bits from. And you've got a fantastic figure, and it's still only 200 quid. Cheaper than Hot Toys. Yeah, definitely. So that's good. Right.
And then Mr. Stallone gave us a little update, and obviously these are just renders. But it looks like on the Sylvester Stallone shop, we shall soon get a Cobra and what looks like a Rocky 1 sculpt, or a not Rocky 1,
Rambo one,
Rambo. Yeah. I think these renders look really good.
They look amazing,
yeah. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see how it comes out, but I think
it's funny. It's like why they got the official clothing brand. I didn't know he had a clothing brand, but. What's interesting, I think, is the fact that I thought that, because I'm sure I saw a picture of him with the
3-0 one,
the 3-0 figure, and I figured that he just thought, "Fuck me, that's brilliant. Why don't I get involved with this?" But I've heard other people say that he was pissed off that they didn't, that they produced that without his permission, or the likeness.
I think that's a load of bollocks. It's a fully licensed figure.
Exactly,
I think. So when we did that chat with Lee on his one, Andy, who did the board game, the They Live board game, was saying that he wanted to do other John Carpenter stuff, and he was explaining he really knows his stuff because he's in the business, and he was explaining how licensing actually works. And what he was saying was that certain films, the actors will have no say in their likeness being used.
Yeah, yeah.
So when they said about doing Escape from New York board game, right? They went. They said you can have Kurt Russell, his likeness is yours, but you cannot have the likenesses of anyone else in the film. So if you have like the Major and all of that, you can call them the Major, but you cannot use. They can't look anything like they did in the film. So it may be a case of actually, whoever the film studio that made Rambo has the rights to the character, its likeness, and everything. And Stallone wasn't dealt with at all. And it may be the case that actually Stallone has his likeness rights for Cobra. And he's decided that's what he's going to do. But that very much looks like a Rambo to me. So that kind of blows that theory out of the water.
It is, I think I like
unless it's just Rambo 3.
Yeah, or as I say, it doesn't necessarily he obviously can put stuff out in his own image because it's his face. But as you say, he probably won't be it may not be released as a Rambo figure because he hasn't got rights to put out a Rambo figure, but he can just call it, Vietnam vet, blah blah blah, and we all know it's Rambo.
But would an actor want to shit where he eats for the sake of a few dolly sales?
Yeah, I suppose.
I think it's all a load of bollocks. I think because I saw a picture of him holding the thing, looking quite happy, and he even shared it on his page.
Yeah.
So if he was pissed off about it, why would he even share it on his page?
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's nonsense. I think he's seen it, he loved it, thought, why am I not doing this myself? And he's jumped on it.
That's what I think. So he's seen an opportunity to.
Because he's quite industrious. He's quite shrewd with stuff.
Yeah.
So I think he's jumped on it and doing it. And these will come out and these will be super expensive.
Yeah, but as we joked, he's going to make Steve his bitch for many years to come. Steve's going to have to.
Yeah, big time. But so. I know these are just renders, but they look really good.
They do. Yeah. It's a good start.
Yeah. So they were saying there was people like Sean Dabbs involved and stuff like that with accessories and
stuff.
Yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to these.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. And then Damn Toys. Now this looks impressive. So Damn Toys. This is the Golden Years Godfather. 260 quid at Q4 2021. Look at the tailoring on that.
Yeah.
Look at those old man pants pulled right up to the nipples. That tailoring is fat. I never thought I'd be that excited about old man clothes.
It looks amazing.
It's a really good set. Even if it looked half as good as that, it's fantastic. The way you can. I think this is really clever with the base. Being able to cover bits up and swap out bits. You get lots of accessories.
Enough jumper.
Yep, 2 head sculpts again.
Yeah.
Stacks of accessories. Fantastic.
That looks brilliant.
I think it looks better than the other version as well.
Yeah, so we've got the classic tuxedo version, which we I think was shown just after our last show. So
although that's way more iconic.
That's the thing. Yeah, that is the iconic look. You'd be hard pressed to, like Dean was saying. I think if you're a big enough fan of the character, then you got to have both. I don't think you can choose between them because this is the iconic look. But I mean, this just looks like that suit and the accessories and everything. It just looks brilliant.
Yeah,
looks like a really high quality. Like even with that base kind of.
Yeah,
I don't know. It gives it's got a real sort of quality look to it, and hopefully it will come out, 80-90% as good as these.
Yeah, just looks fantastic.
Yeah. What
260 quid?
Yeah, I mean that's for what all the stuff you get. I don't think you can knock that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I really like these, and I mean the sculpt does look really good.
Yeah, it looks spot on. Looks spot on.
Yeah. I mean, I came to the films really late. I think we talked about it before that I was never really into it, and I watched them about 5 or 10 years ago. Loved them. I like the first two, and the third one's a bit throwaway. I really did love them, but not enough that I'd want figures of them because, like as we've discussed, like I think you kind of gone this way, is that my collection has kind of evolved into stuff that I was into as a kid growing up, and they've got that real emotional attachment. So because I didn't see this, like, and it's not a kids movie or anything like that. So the movies are great, the figure's fantastic, but for me, it's not something that I would personally want to own. But I think it's brilliant. And if you love, if you collect those kind of figures, like gangster figures or things like that, then yeah, you got to get these. They're great.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fantastic. And then this is more our cup of tea.
Yeah.
So this is the Jazz Inc. Snow Speeder. This is the unpainted prototype that he showed off. It's up for pre-order. You can get it now for £1,272 plus shipping. Yeah. Worth every penny as far as I'm fucking concerned. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks so good. And Jazz's attention to detail is second to none. So this is a whole new level.
Yeah, because we talked about this. This came up when we had him on last, and we were talking about future projects. I think this was a very popular one because, although it's still massive because it's a 1/6 scale ship, of any of the craft in Star Wars, it's fairly compact. I think it's about a meter long, or just under a meter long.
Yeah.
So it's feasibly manageable in a collection. You could kind of, I mean, you couldn't have an X-wing because that would be 3 times the length of this. But I said that I'd be all over it, but obviously I've got the fold, and
that's the thing. You got the cockpit,
and I've got this nice table, which it would probably cover the whole table, but then I couldn't see my Lego stuff underneath it, which is the whole point of having a glass table with the Falcon and stuff. So, I think if I hadn't gone for the cockpit, possibly, but I think I'm going to have to leave it. To be honest, but it does look really cool, and I would love one. But but it's good to see that you're making it.
Yeah, it's too cool. I just don't have the space for it.
No, and obviously we've got the Hot Toys Snowspeeder Luke figure coming late. Is it late next year or early 22? So it's probably going to coincide quite nicely with that, because it's got to be a way off. It's got to be at least a year off, because he's got
late next year, I think.
Yeah, because Jazz has got a shitload of projects on. So this is going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out fairly close together. But then what do you do about? Do you have a second figure? Do you need to kit bash a DAC to go in the back?
To be fair, if you bought 2 Lukes, one's facing the other way, you probably wouldn't notice too much.
Expensive way of doing it. You don't really want to be paying out 300 quid.
You've already spent just over £1,000.
Yeah, exactly. Already. So, and it's not like you can pick up the sideshow one cheap. I mean, inevitably the price will go down when the Hot Toys one comes out, but you're still not going to be able to pick one up for 50 quid and say.
I thought that about Cody. I thought, so I'll pick up on the sideshow ones because then I get the phase 1 and 2 helmets, and I'm never going to display it without the helmet. And I was expecting them to drop down to kind of about 150 to 180 kind of price. No chance. They're still about 300 quid, and I'm like, you fucking kidding me? I could get the Hot Toys one for less than that.
Is it because of the extra stuff in there that the Hot Toys didn't come with that's holding it?
It's Star Wars. It's Star Wars. I think that's the thing. I cannot wait for Marvel to release a few more films so the price drops again. Because like we used to say, used to have this ebb and flow where you'd have a Star Wars film released, Star Wars would hype, You would then
People would sell off their whole Marvel collection. I'm into Star Wars now. Just do Star Wars now.
Yeah. And then the next phase of Marvel films would come out, and you would have another couple of Marvel films. And I'm selling all Star Wars stuff, and I'm getting into Marvel. And you could pick Star Wars stuff up dirt cheap.
Yeah, dirt cheap.
And the Marvel stuff was expensive. So if you ever wanted to pick up, I'd always say, if you ever wanted to pick Marvel up, wait till Christmas time, because there's always a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
You could pick Marvel up dirt cheap. If you wanted Star Wars was summer. You go for it, you get it in the summer. It was generally quite cheap.
Yeah.
Now, because of we have the Mando chugging away, chomping stuff out every single week. There is no Marvel stuff. It is now just Star Wars is going mental. I mean, you search for Hasbro stuff, Hasbro Star Wars stuff, the 12-inch. Fuck me. Someone was trying to sell an IG unit for 80 quid. Things are fucking paperweight. It's got no articulation. Absolutely fucking mental.
I think even if the Mando wasn't on, the legacy and the history of Star Wars, in the absence of anything else pushing it, Marvel, DC, it's always going to rise to the top, because people are grown up with it, and it's classic.
See, I always find that DC just stays generally at the same level. It always just it follows the general trend of collecting. If everything gets expensive, that gets expensive. Peaks a bit when you have a new film, but it never has that like extreme flux that you kind of get. Mark, haha.
Yeah.
I'm saying Marvel's come out. So people sell Star Wars. Yeah. And the thing is, we know it's going to happen. We just got to hedge our bets and wait. So I'm probably like, I know I'm selling at the wrong time for for Marvel, but just got to hedge your bets, and it will happen.
See, I got out a bit earlier, and I did all right on mine.
You probably go out just at the right time. So,
kind of not far after Endgame, so the hype was still pretty massive. Even for the figures weren't from that movie, but obviously I had Spider-Man. I had like the best versions, like the Civil War Cap, the Mark 46, the Homecoming Spider-Man, the Avengers Hulk. So they're all kind of like considered to be possibly like some of the best of those characters. So they were always going to kind of sell.
We need WandaVision to come out, and we need the new Black Widow film to come out. Just to restore some balance. But so that was pretty much all the new stuff that was coming out. At least we noticed. And then TV, film, and games. So we had the sad news that David Prowse passed away a couple of days ago. Real shame. He came across as a really, really nice bloke. He's been around. Obviously, before he became Vader, he was pretty much a household name in England anyway. As the Green Cross Code guy, he would say how to safely cross the street, and then he moved on to crushing rebel scum. So, really sad to see him.
It was sad.
Shuffle off this wonderful pool
of that core group that's gone. We've only got Anthony Daniels, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill left really from that. It's because he, unfortunately for David Prowse, is that he obviously got the Vader gig because of his height, because of his stature. He'd before that he'd played some Hammer horror monsters, some of the dodgy Frankenstein sequels, and I don't know how much he was told and what didn't happen.
So when at the weekend when he passed away, did you listen to BBC News?
No.
So I was listening to it because I listen to it on the Alexa all the time when I'm pottering around, and they said, for a 5-minute more interview, play it now. So I did, and it was really interesting because it had an interview with him from 2013, and he was saying how he got the Star Wars gig.
Right.
And because he said about he was in Hammer horror films and stuff like that. He got a phone call. Oh, this American guy George Lucas wants to talk to you about a film he's doing. So he went to see him, and he said, "I remember you."
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, he said, "I remember you from a film a few years back where he was like playing a henchman and he was just fucking huge."
Yeah.
And George Lucas went, "So I've got two parts. We've got the part of Chewbacca." And he said, "Well, what's a Chewbacca?" And he said, "It's like a hairy space gorilla thing." And he went,
"Nah,
I don't really fancy that." And he said, or we have this character Darth Vader, who's the main bad guy. And he said, "I'll play Darth Vader because you always remember the baddies." And George Lucas apparently went to him, "That's a really good choice." And then they went into the whole voice thing as well. And he said all the way through, he was like, "Look, you can't really hear what I'm saying. It's all a bit muffled. How are we going to deal with that?" And they said to him, "We'll deal with it post-production." And he said, and this is the bit where I think he's probably come to terms with it a bit more throughout. He came to terms a bit throughout the years, because he turned around and said, the choice for them was to get him over to America and re-record everything, or just get a voice actor in, which is where they went with James Earl Jones. And he said, sitting in the cinema to watch it, and suddenly someone else's voice comes out, was all a bit weird. And he went and spoke to George Lucas afterwards, and he explained that we went for, it was easier to get someone else to record it. But I think Zach and that said as well, like, I don't think they treated him the best, particularly like with Sebastian Shaw and stuff like that. He didn't know that was happening until he walked on set and saw him all costumed up. So,
and as I say, I think he got the gig, unfortunately, on his stature. He's a big guy. I think he was probably a little bit naive in the fact that he didn't realize that he really didn't have an accent that you could have for all right, my lover. It was never going to be. And
but then in his defense, there'd never been a film like it before.
So no,
brand
they
spanking
had no
new
idea what they were getting into. So it's sad in that way, and that the fact, when they finally unmasked Vader, that it wasn't him. They got Sebastian Shaw. You see, I did actually meet him. I think I was about 9 or 10. He came to. He did. So that would have been probably after probably a Jedi, like a post Jedi kind of. He toured around England, and he went to toy shops, and they set up there was a local toy shop. It was called Tortoise Toys. We used to get a lot of our stuff in there, and they set up like a little room in the back, and they just put like a black curtain with some twinkly stars on it, and he stood there in costume, and you had your picture taken with him, and you got an autograph. Sadly, I don't know where either of those are now. I'm sure I had the autograph, and it's possibly in a box in my mum and dad's loft somewhere. And there was a photo of me and my brother with him. And there's the sort of things that you think that I really wish I had those now. But from what I remember, he was a nice guy. I'm not going to remember much, but it was nice that he kind of did that. I think he probably, unlike a lot of the other characters, like say Harrison Ford, who was like, fuck Han Solo, he's a dick. He didn't really. I think Dave Prowse really kind of embodied Vader and enjoyed meeting people as him and stuff. So, and he did seem like it came across as a really nice guy. So, it's sad. But again, he lived a good life. I think COVID did play a part, didn't it, in the end?
I think that's what his daughter said.
But I think he had health issues anyway. I mean, like a bit with like Peter Mayhew, I think people that are particularly tall, there's normally some sort of inherent underlying health issues that come with that as you get older anyway. And I know that he's sort of started losing his memory a bit towards the end, and he couldn't remember specific things about the filming and things. But it's sad. It's always sad for me to kind of lose original trilogy actor because they're so special to me. It means so much to me. So just sort of think, oh, who's next? You know, and obviously there's a couple of biggies next, I suppose.
Yeah. I think one of the things that really disappointed me a bit was that, you know, I'm part of quite a few Star Wars groups, and obviously when something like this happens, everything goes mental. But I was really like a bit disappointed in it, where people were posting photos of Vader from Rogue One, and they were posting pictures of Vader with his mask off, and it's Sebastian Shaw. And it may have been artwork and shit like that, but I was like, have a bit of class about you. He didn't. That wasn't even him. Like, I was just like, fuck's sake, these people are meant to know stuff. Like, I was just like,
2 seconds to think about it and go, actually, well, no, he's not Sebastian Shaw, and he wasn't in.
And when you know about all the history behind it all and how he was kind of, I wouldn't say treated well, it just smacks that he wasn't treated fairly.
Yeah.
And obviously, no one will ever know apart from us, and not apart from him and the people who worked on it. But it just seems that, like, it just seemed a bit.
Yeah, I think they probably weren't completely honest with him. I think, and he found out things the wrong way. Whereas if he'd known from the start, he probably still would have been fine with it. But it was to kind of like to possibly make him feel that he was going to be the voice of Vader as well, and then to kind of, you know, pull. I mean,
we saw some really just shit stuff from people. So we had obviously Toys Wonderland again, like soon, like Body's Not Even Cold, and straight up there's you can buy the Darth Vader collectible figure from us, you know, and they say that they put a statement out saying it was, you know, they didn't realise and like, fair enough, okay, give you the benefit of the doubt once, but you pulled this shit with Black Panther as well. So like, I just think it's fucking unreal. And then you get people going, well, you know, it's first world problems, like, and all this sort of shit. And you're like, oh, fuck off. Like, you know, I know they're just toys, and I know it's retailers and they can do what the fuck they want, but you got to draw the line somewhere, you know? And I'm generally a person who doesn't give a shit about a lot. But even I was a bit like, oh, for fuck's sake, have a bit of sense about you. It was not cool.
No, and it's just, again, it's one of those strange coincidences in life where, you know, they just released the re-release of the Empire Vader for the 40th anniversary. So it's kind of even more, it's not even just a case of people that have got him going, oh, can I suddenly get 500 quid? There is this new figure that is in stock at certain places, and they're going, oh, right, lovely. We've got a few of these. You know, I mean, I don't know whether they changed the price or not. Or
no, I don't. To give them. So this is what I will bring to their defence. They didn't jack the price up like with Black Panther. So you could give them further benefit of the doubt, but they've got form for it.
Covert advertising. We've got stock of this figure, and you know, it's, you just need to give things a little bit of time. Give him a week, you know.
Let him cool down. So that was a sad note. And then this broke about an hour ago, just before we're going to come on. So Warner Brothers are going to release all the films that they are going to be releasing in 2021, not only at the cinema, but at the same time on HBO Max. So if you have a HBO Max subscription, you are going to get a lot of films like the new Matrix, June, everything they're going to release. If you're like us in the UK and they're tied into an HBO stuff is shown on Sky, we're fucked. We're not going to get that. But I thought this could set a really interesting precedent with other film companies.
Yeah.
Because and you know, this to me is the promised land. This is where I want things to go. I don't want cinemas to collapse and fail. I want to go to the cinema to see the big films that I really want to see, like your Star Wars, stuff like that. I don't really want to be I don't want to go to the cinema and watch Tenet. I can't be asked. I'd rather watch it at home.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, even, you know, for me, I'm not a big Bond fan. I like James Bond films, but I'd probably watch it at home given the choice.
It's interesting to talk. I don't know if they've given any numbers out about kind of what this deal's worth, but interestingly, just to jump in there, you know, let you finish in a minute, mate. The apparently MGM went to all the big streamers with the Bond movie, and the only one that was vaguely interested about was Apple TV, and I heard that they were prepared to pay £500 million for the rights to show that movie, but MGM said they wouldn't do it for less than 800 million, because effectively that's what they need to cover just to break even.
The cost of the film.
They did all the advertising, you know, that was all done and dusted. You know, that was ready to come. It wasn't. It was literally pulled like a week before, couple of weeks before. So if they were talking about that kind of money, and I think ultimately Apple said, well, we're not going to pay any more than that, because it's kind of like a one hit. You know, it's not like there's going to be how long till the next Bond film? 4 or 5 years. There's no guaranteed roll on revenue. So it'd be interesting to know what kind of numbers we're talking here with HBO.
I think what it would do would attract people to the platform.
Yeah.
And it's like Disney Plus. So let's be honest, most people have Disney Plus for the Star Wars content. Correct. Right? Yep. For the Mandalorian. After December, the only people who will be watching the Disney Plus are kids. Mm-hmm. And occasionally, if you get bored and you want to watch one of the Star Wars films.
Yeah.
Or Marvel. So they use it to bring people into their platform. So people like HBO Max, they have a lot of all content already. So it will just be pulling more people in.
Yeah.
They won't get any repeat value out of any of it.
And the problem with these is they're pay as you go, aren't they? So they're not even tying people in. So you could go, I'll just buy it for a month, watch all the stuff I want, and then not bother paying again. With any of those, Disney or you know.
Yeah. So Mark's got a point. Once COVID is over, theatres will come back. Too much money to be made. Mm-hmm. Yep, 100% agree. Now, if you think about, they've got it good both ways here, because if I was HBO Max, right, and my subscription, I don't know how much HBO Max is, but say if it's like Netflix, it's like 12, 15 quid, whatever. Matrix 4 comes out. I haven't got HBO Max. I've got no interest in any of the other shit they've got, but I sign up for a month.
Yeah.
I pay my 15 quid, and after a month, I just bin it off. Mm-hmm. It's still cheaper than going out to the cinema.
It is. And if X million people do that, that's a shitload of cash for HBO Max.
Yeah. So,
and those same people would do the same thing 6 months later when the next film that they want to see comes out.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see where this leads.
Yeah.
If more companies follow suit.
To be honest, I could sack off cinemas completely. I loved them when I was younger, and it was a really cool thing to, you know, like go off to cinema with your mates and all that kind of thing. But I think
there's no other option.
I just prefer the comfort of my own home and the fact that I can just pause it and go for a piss. You know, that end game was a very stressful situation for me, like not drinking anything for 6 hours before, and going about 3 times in the adverts, and you know, I could do without that at my age. So
no, I know. Yeah, I feel your pain there, mate. I know exactly.
I think, you know, I like the duality of it. If people still want to go and see it at the cinema, but give people the option.
Plus, the people at the cinema will probably watch it at home as well.
Yeah, exactly. If they enjoy it, they're going to be like.
If you think about, say, the Star Wars films that have come out over the course of the last 20 odd years, if someone said, right, you can go see it at the cinema, and you can also watch a copy at home, you'd be caning it you'd be
definitely,
absolutely
yeah.
caning it, big time. So yeah, so it'd be like I said, it'd be interesting to see what
Be
happens.
interesting whether they, because obviously they're talking about, say for example, Wonder Woman is the main one on my radar because I really want to see that film, and there's been a lot of talk about them obviously going to streaming it on HBO Max. They've also now said that, like say in the States, the plan is to have a simultaneous cinema and home streaming release on Christmas Day, I believe, 25th of December. But then they've released a load of other dates for other territories, other countries around the world, but just at the cinema because we don't have HBO Max, as you've said. So I think UK is down as the 16th of December. But as we were saying before the show started, I don't know if there's going to be any cinemas open to actually go and see it anyway.
No, I don't think there will.
So we haven't got the option because we haven't got a way of streaming it legally. So I find that a bit odd.
So here we go. The downside of HBO Max doesn't offer 4K unless I'm mistaken. I wouldn't watch any of those film strips home until they release in 4K. You see, I could if it meant I could watch it in my pants, I could forego 4K.
You could go with full HD. But then what's to say that this new deal won't suddenly launch with the 4K? You know, and they can charge an extra few quid a month. Be a good time to do 4K because there's no reason why they shouldn't be. I don't know why they wouldn't be.
No.
Even if they're not producing their own material in 4K, if they've suddenly got access to,
I'm assuming because obviously HBO Max is pretty much an American thing.
Yeah,
I'm assuming their internet is to a decent standard that it could take 4K streaming.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I mean they're not a fucking third world country. Like I don't get why they wouldn't do it.
Same as us, they can currently stream Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus in 4K. It's strange, odd to me that they don't do 4K, but I imagine they would probably well do.
Yeah, seems a bit odd.
Yeah, because obviously Netflix has 2 tiers here, isn't there? If you pay the lower tier, you don't get 4K.
Yeah, I tried the lower tier for like a week and it pissed me off because the moment my boy was watching on his iPad, my missus was watching it downstairs, and I wanted to watch something and I couldn't. I was like, nah, fuck it. I'm putting it up again so I can watch what I want.
I couldn't do without the 4K, and it was a big thing for me to sign up for it in the first place, was to have 4K material because at the time there wasn't that much. There's loads now, but that's a big, and I'm definitely don't mind paying the extra 3 or 4 quid a month for that because Netflix is my main viewing platform. I'm going to watch tons of that. Definitely get my money's worth out of.
Same here. Same here.
Right. Custom corner. Take it away.
Corner.
Your work,
I normally use Fozon resin, water washable resin, right? And and I used to just order it for Amazon, next day delivery, 35 quid, and I would probably use a bottle a month.
Right.
I can't fucking get hold of any anymore. So I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Because every fucker's got a 3D printer now.
Yeah, exactly. And I've noticed that in the groups, everyone's because the price has dropped massively. It's
everyone's dabbling in it.
Yeah. So I've switched to a different resin that I'm playing around with at the moment, and it stinks to high heaven. It cures better, but it's a bit more brittle. So when I printed the Vader sculpts and stuff, before I assembled them digitally, I would just print them as they were, then glue bits together. And I could print the individual tusks on one support and it would print absolutely fine. Won't touch it on this. They're all broken off by the time I take it off. So I'm experimenting with a different resin at the moment. But back when I had the resin that I like, I started to do a few upgradey bits for my Mandalorian because I thought these are kind of the stuff that should have come with my Mando. So stuff like the knives. And the thing is, when you print something, printing one and printing 20 of something, the time it takes is minimal. I never really just print one. So I wanted one knife for me, and I ended up printing like 10 because I might as well. I've got the space.
Exactly.
It cost me very little resin. So I've got a load of knives that I printed off, and they've scaled up really well. I then bought because of the Black Friday sales and stuff. A lot of the file websites were having stupid clear outs. So the thigh plate for Series 2 Mando was like a tenner, knocked down to like £3, and I was like, I might as well download it. So I paid £3, downloaded it, printed 2 off, and they both came out really well. Then I found a file for their camel toe, whatever it is, camel toe. That's it. And it was 1/12. So I printed one off in 1/12 just to see how it all went together, which you're going to have, Peter.
Yeah, I'll have that for my Black Series Beskar.
And then I doubled it up and printed a 1/6 one. And they're really cool. I've got to paint it up, but they come out really well. There's a few little tweaks I think I need to do.
You had a few little problems with it clipping shut or something, didn't you? But
so the way it works, I think it's behind me, is so just knock everything out of the way.
Yeah.
So the way it works, oh, you bastard, is, I don't know if you can see, but inside, I'll get the camera. This piece here, right, is a separate piece that glues onto this top bit.
Okay.
To get it in, all these flaps here are off, so you have to push it in and push it up. When I did that, it snapped here and round here. So I need to fill those bits.
Yeah.
But what that enables you to do is to twist this top bit. So when you shut these, which I need to twist that around like that, you shut it and then you line these bits up. So when you go like that, it all locks in place.
Okay.
And it all stays like that. And then when you unlock it, they'll hinge open. So yeah, I was impressed. I mean, there's a few bits, like I think, so that panel, I printed on its own laying down because that's all I needed to print. These two were printed standing up, and you can see the tops just aren't quite as sharp. So I'm going to run them down with a bit of sandpaper. And there's a few little bits and pieces here and there that I just need to sand down and paint, but I'm quite happy with how that turned out. Because, as I said before, I'm just going to print the if ever a figure comes with the special edition, I'm just going to print the bits I need instead of buying the special edition.
How much would that run you in terms of materials for that and the Beskar?
So the Beskar. So to print the container, that had to be printed in 3 lots. So you had the frame and the lid on the print bed for the first print. Second print was the cog and 2 of the doors. And the third print was a door on its own. And then the actual Beskar ignits, I just laid them on the whole print bed. So that's just 1 lot, and that does about 15.
Okay.
Which isn't too bad. And that doesn't, so the ingots took about 3 hours to print. And I think the longest part of the cam toe was the framework. And that probably took 4 hours. Because obviously it's printing millimeter at a time. And like the knives, I think they were 3 hours. But if I increased the thickness, it would take half the time, but you wouldn't get a lot of the detail.
No.
And I think the thigh plates, 2 of them took like 2 hours because I practically laid them down. What happens if you lay it down? It doesn't take as long. If you stick it up, because it has to do all the layers.
It
increases the time. So it's worth, when you're slicing stuff, playing around with its orientation. Plus, some stuff will just print better a certain way. But yeah, so I've done all of those, and then I was looking at the Beskar armor, and I thought I might try some of that, like the rest of it. But
Yeah.
I've got it on pre-order. So
the Beskar slabs, they got like that. They got the pattern printed.
So these ones have on one side, not two. And that's because the supports were on the other side, so it hasn't got a lot of that detail.
But you don't need it, don't you? Because
I wasn't so. I mean, if I laid them on their side, I would probably get the detail both sides. And saying that, I would probably get more on a build plate.
Okay.
Again, it's just a case of planning around till I get something to stick.
It's cool.
So that's generally the plan. Is any kind of special edition, I'm just gonna print the bits. I mean, and I've even for our mate Dean, Alien Pulse Rifles, I've even got a few of them because he's doing a few Marines and he's got someone to cast the armor. And he said, "Oh, if you could you print us a pulse rifle?" And I was like, "If I can find the file, I can print it."
Yeah, because I've got a couple. Like me and Dave picked up a couple from somebody that was printing them off, and they were really good. I think charged like £10 each. So I just thought I'll pick up a couple. I mean, I've got some Marines and stuff. I didn't need any, but I thought, well, for that price, I'll get a couple. I haven't painted them up yet, but they're really good. So there's obviously the files are out there.
It's amazing what you can actually get. It's insane. I'm surprised when I can't get files. It's just,
and it's obviously only going to get easier and easier as more people get them.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you look at some of the sculptors out there who make model kits and stuff, who you can commission, if you gave them a head sculpt and went, I just want the head of this character, they could do some really impressive stuff. Because I've reached out to a few of them just to get a few prices, and they're genuinely surprised that you just want the head. Yep, just the head. Okay. What do you want it for? Well, I'm going to put it on a 6-scale figure. And they normally, some of these people do 6-scale kits anyway, like actual model kits, and they're like, well, all right then, 30, 40 quid, and you're like, fine. Like, okay. So I'm interested next year in seeing what we can do. I've got to clear my backlog first, and then here we go, Ryan. If you're selling the Mando armor plate, please let me know. Yeah, I'm sure I could sort you out, mate. Even if I just send you an unpainted one, just pay for postage and bit for material, and it's all yours, Ryan. So while on customs, about 3-4 hours ago, Inigo, who we rave about constantly, just announced that he's going to do a new version of Han. So I have his old V1 Han, which I've had for years now because I think it's probably the best Han Solo. And he's shown these renders and put it up for pre-order. So I put my pre-order in. I think it was 110 quid.
Yeah. That includes shipping.
That includes shipping. That's the lot. All of it.
Yeah, because I think it's about 100 plus about £10 for shipping. Yeah.
Yeah, it was $135, I think. Yeah, which worked out about 110. So that's the V1. Where's my camera there? Which I don't think is bad. No. What he does have a habit of doing is takes whatever indie he's doing, takes the stubble off, sticks new hair on it. I've come to terms with that. I've come to quite happy with that. That's fine because that is effectively a V1 indie with new hair.
Yep.
This is quite obviously the V3.
Yeah.
With new hair. Fine. I like the V3 and I think it works for an Empire / Return of the Jedi Han. So I'll quite happily pay that for this. But the only problem is it's one of those that he will run it for a certain time, won't tell you how long.
It says a few months.
Yeah, so we said a few months, and then it'd be a few months after that. So realistically, when we look at the V3 and stuff like that, I'm not expecting this for another 6-7 months, I don't think, going by. And I think I'm being slightly optimistic there as well.
It'll probably close Feb, March, and then you'll be looking at 3 months after that, probably. So summertime, maybe.
Yeah, you'll notice certain painters and stuff will get theirs way before everyone else.
Yeah.
Like the V3, that was a bit of a piss take with that. But anyway,
I like it.
Looking forward to this.
I was going to pick one up, but I don't really need another hand sculpt, so I'm going to pass on it for the moment. But obviously, if it turns out once I start seeing some painted up ones, and if I'm blown away by it, then I'll eat. They do sell out, but he's normally got a few knocking about if you get in reasonably quick. And there's probably going to be another run if it's popular enough anyway. So
yeah, I mean, look at the V3. Like when that first went up for pre-order, you know, pretty much anyone who was into indie ordered one.
Yeah.
And then it was only when they started to ship and the painted ones started to be shown that people were suddenly like, "Oh shit, I've missed out on this."
Yeah, exactly.
But he was more than happy to do another run.
Did another run, and not actually that long after the first run. It's not like you had to wait years. And obviously, as we said before, you know, he makes good money off these, so he's not an idiot. He's gonna, if it's popular and people are asking for it, he's gonna do another run. And a lot of people have been asking for this, and this was shown 2 years ago when the V3 was. He just kind of threw it in there as a what if kind of thing.
Well, he had this in a decade.
That's it, yeah. And everyone was all over it, and it was a bit weird that he just went so quiet on it.
Well, he went through a spate of just showing heads. So he showed this. He showed a Dallas. He showed a couple of John McClane's. He showed an episode 3 Obi-Wan. I think he showed another. I think he showed another Luke. Like there was quite a few that he showed off, but this is the first one that's kind of come to fruition.
But and
yeah,
there's been a bit of a groundswell because we talked earlier about this Yunsil best hand clothing set that's just getting into the hands of buyers now. And obviously, if you've paid $500-600 for that set, then you want a decent custom head to go on it. So there's been I think I'm not saying that's the only reason, but I think he's had a lot of private messages from some of these people recently to say, look, come on, mate, we need it. And he's gone, well, I've clearly got, you know, X amount of people that are going to buy it as a minimum. There, let's do it. So it's good. Good.
Yeah. Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And there we are.
So from one customizer to another.
Yeah.
You know, so we just want to say thank you very much again to Mr. Watto for sponsoring us.
Appreciate your support.
Yep. If you want 6-scale head sculpts or 1/12 scale head sculpts, here's your man. He knocks out. So Mando every Friday comes out. By about midday, he's got the characters up from that episode. He is quick and good.
Yeah, we had the lady, the spear lady. We had Michael Bean. Both really good.
So well worth it. Give him a shout. He will sort you out. He is the man.
Do you notice that Dean or Zach made no mention of our efforts to do the What's a Scrapyard intro? And I don't know if that felt because they were that bad or whether they felt threatened by the quality.
I think it's
just you know.
I'd love to say it's because they were threatened, but I think in reality they're probably doing us a favor.
Maybe they were just mediocre. They weren't good enough to be worried about, and they weren't bad enough to bother mentioning.
Oh, I think they were that bad that they just weren't bothered mentioning.
I don't know.
They were
I was
terrible.
Disappointed that they didn't, you know.
Well, they didn't mention us at all on that one show.
No, I know, and
but then to be fair, we got a glowing review from them on the last episode, so we mustn't grumble.
You know what I was talking about there, but I think it's the fact that we're what the number one Spotify show, so you know we're. Of all the people on Spotify, more people listen to OFAC than the other shows. Well, I think we're entertaining in a bad way, maybe.
Yeah, it's probably just loads of people who want to know how not to do a podcast. They just come and listen to us. But yeah. So
we have
take it away, Phil.
yeah. So we are now into the voting period for the third annual Collecting Weekly Awards. So we came together as a group, as a network, and we individually, for each category, each of the 9 categories, we chose what we would like to see as the final 5 that would be the nominees for the awards. And obviously then Zach's put all that into his brain, and we've come out with 5 nominations for the first 8 categories, and then the final category, the figure of the year, we've gone with 6 because it was too close on to cut off with 5. So we've got 6 on there. So voting is live now. The show is on December the 15th. I think does the voting finish a couple of days before that, something like the 12th or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, and I should have looked that up. But you can find the link on the Collecting Weekly Auxiliary Facebook page. You can skip categories if you're not really like, because we always joke, like we had a good laugh last year because when we went through the winners or the nominees, we hadn't heard of a lot of stuff, so we kind of were a bit sarcastic about it. And so I've done a bit more homework this year, made sure that I kind of know a bit more about the non 1/6 scale stuff. So I knocked up this sheet because we didn't have, obviously there's a lot of information and images on there, but I thought it'd be nice to try and get it on one slide so you can kind of get a snapshot of the nominees for the awards. So the first category is Most Improved Company in 2020. We've got Hasbro, McFarlane Toys, 3-0, NECA, and Ace Toys. I don't really know Ace Toys that well, but they've been putting out the Power Rangers figures. It's what they're best known for, and apparently they're quite popular within the Power Rangers community. So they're doing well. Then we've got Best Overall Company. So we've got McFarlane has NECA in there again, and they're joined by Bandai and Hot Toys. Best under $30. I mean, it's a bit of a tricky one for UK because $30 is what, 22 quid, something like that. You'd be lucky to get these figures for that amount over here. So you kind of had to take that one a bit of a pinch of salt. But that's Mattel the Child, the Kickstarter McFarlane Spawn figure, or one of his, the Black Series, Hasbro Black Series Luke Skywalker Snow Speeder Pilot, which I've got, and is a fantastic figure. I really do like that. Doomslayer, I don't know anything about him. He's the guy at the bottom. And then we've got Master Chief. Just looking up who that is by. That is by, what's it, W something? Bear with me a second, because again, this isn't our
WC Toys.
Wicked Cool Toys,
Cool Toys.
Not our area of expertise, so
no.
I'm just checking that. And then in the next one, we've got best non-traditional scale. So we're talking about, it's not 1/6, not 1/12. So we've got the Bandai Great Ape Vegeta. It's one of those weird Dragon Ball people I know nothing about. The Diamond Select Iron Giant, which is a cool looking figure. We've got the Sideshow, the Child, or spoilers, Grogu. Seems to have actually turned out quite well, that figure, isn't it? There was a lot of worry about some of the pictures before it was released, but seems to look pretty good. Zach's got one; he's pleased with it.
Yeah, lots of the original photos that were shown just look trash, but actually it's come out really well.
That's look really good, actually. Then we've got the NECA Super Shredder. Now I don't know what scale is that. Is that like a quarter scale to go with the
no, I think it's smaller than quarter scale. I didn't think it was
like a 7-inch figure or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we've got Spawn, the McFarlane Spawn figure. They call him the just Spawn. So that's cool.
They call him Yeah, just
Well, I
Spawn.
don't know, he's done so many spawns, but that's just Spawn. Spawn.
Yeah, just Spawn.
Best 112 skull. We've got Master Chief again, and Luke, joined by we've got Dark Knight from Mayfex. We have got Goku. Again from Bandai, another Dragon Ball figure, and one that I really like, and Dylan was really behind this one, is the Mezco 112 Nosferatu.
Yeah, that does look good.
Brilliant. I mean, I'd really like to pick one up. I had a look at them, and they're quite expensive, sort of 90, 100 quid. But it's a really cool figure. And I think some of the Mezco 112 stuff is really fantastic. I've got the Ghostbusters, and the tailoring and everything in that scale is really, really good. So I think he's an outside choice. But yeah, I like him. Best third party, we've got, I think it's the Present Toys Django that Zach picked up. He's got on horseback. We've got the Superman Toys Replicant Killer, so the Blade Runner 2049 Ryan Gosling, isn't it? Yeah, Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
We've got the Tank Toys Era, so that's the
Deadpool version.
Deadpool version of the one that we showed earlier. We've got the Young Rich Miles Morales, which is the one you were talking about earlier, where you get tons of stuff with it, and you get that mask sculpt, don't you, as well? I think, and that's good. And the Ace Toys Mighty Superheroes, which is a knockoff speak for Power Rangers. But I understand they're doing really well. I'm not. I've seen a bit of Power Rangers, and I find it highly comical. It's good fun to watch.
So I grew up on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. If I could get a set of these at a reasonable price, I would do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
So it's lost on me, but then I'm a bit older, but I can watch them. I find them quite amusing. So they're doing really well, apparently. Then we've got a new category, which was quite popular, best head sculpt. So we've got Hot Toys The Wasp, Director Krennic, Han Solo, Mud Trooper, Cody, and the one non-Hot Toys contender, the 3-0 Rambo 3.
It's a really, really strong category, that.
It is.
Each one of those is fantastic.
They've all got their own merits. I think they're all very good. Myself, I think Wasp for me.
Me too. It just picks.
Yeah. Who else do you like on that?
So for me, the Wasp all day long. It just is shrink ray. So and then it's Rambo. It's the Stallone after that. I think the others are all really good and hit the mark, but it's just something about the Rambo one. It's straight out Stallone. I mean, the Mud Trooper one's very good. Krennic is also good.
I've got I had the standard Han Solo, and it is a fantastic head sculpt, and it is very good likeness of the actor. So obviously that's exactly the same sculpt, but just they're gone with the Mud Trooper version rather than the standard version. Krennic's good. They're all really strong, I think. It's good, really, that somebody's done one good enough to break into that Hot Toys. Pretty much a monopoly they've got, in terms of the sculpting and the paint apps. Hot Toys is still the number one. But that Rambo figure kind of came out of nowhere and really delivered. Popular figure, that. Then we've got Best 1/6. We've got the Solo Mud Trooper. We have Mandalorian First Armor version, which has been very popular, and a lot of people pick that up. We've got the Endgame Thanos, Director Krennic, and Alita Battle Angel. I think they're strong. Battle Angel, I don't know enough about it, but apparently the reviews have been pretty good on it. in terms of
The
what
body
it is.
on it is fantastic. But there's so much sculpting on that. The posability, it's a really good figure. It's a shame it's from a film that wasn't that great.
No.
But as a figure, it's really good. All the poses I've seen people do are just mental. So
yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah. And then we've got figure of the year. They said we've gone with 6 because we couldn't really, it wasn't really fair to cut it at 5. So we've got Mandalorian again, we've got Director Krennic, we've got the Black Series Luke, the Replicant Killer, the Mud Trooper, and Rambo 3.
See,
I think,
for me, with that one, it's between Mando and Rambo.
Yeah.
Just because they rhyme.
Mando and Rambo, yeah. And you own the Mando, so you kind of you've got him in hand, so you know how good he is.
The problem I have is that I find it funny that I have to go, Mando for me is figure of the year, but I've had to swap the body.
Yeah,
I've had to weather it all.
Yeah, so it's a really good base for a good figure, but to get it that level,
but I think a lot. Yeah, and I think a lot of it is hype. It's because we're riding that Mando train hard. And when I really think about it, actually, if I got Rambo, I wouldn't have to take a fat suit out.
No,
I wouldn't have to fuck about with it. It could go on the shelf as is, and I'd be perfectly happy.
Yeah.
Krennic, I don't like the weird flannel cape thing he's got.
No, I think that's
just
the weaker point of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Supermad, whatever it is, Agent K.
Yeah.
It looks perfectly good. I've just got no interest in the film.
No, exactly.
So I've got zero interest in the film. I don't collect the smaller scale, although that Luke is very good.
It is very good.
And the Mud Trooper, I think the Mud Trooper is quite good because it's kind of twofold. If you're into Solo, you've got yourself a Solo figure.
Yeah.
People want Mud Troopers, and they've wanted Mud Troopers for a while. You just sell the sculpt, stick a different one underneath there, and stick the out on it, and you've got yourself your Mud Trooper.
Any old head under there. I think it's good. I think it's nice I don't see Luke winning the figure of the year because clearly, you put him against a Hot Toys but it's good there's a lot of support, and I can see him being a strong contender in the other 2 categories. But I think he warranted a nomination in the figure of the year. It's a difficult one. I think I'm not a fan of, personally, Krennic. I'm not a fan of it, particularly fan of the character or the figure. But I could definitely make an argument for Mando, Rambo, and probably the Mud Trooper. And again, only because I'm not really into that Blade Runner film. But from what I've seen, it's a cracking figure.
Yeah.
The tailoring and the accessories and stuff. So I think overall it's been a pretty good year for
There's
figures.
No reason why that Agent K shouldn't have been good. The amount of time it took to come out. It's very similar to Gamora. There's no reason why those figures shouldn't be good with the amount of time they had.
Yeah, exactly. So get your votes in. And be a part of the awards show. It's really disappointing. I'm really kind of sad that I don't think I can be getting up at 2:30 in the morning to watch it live. To be honest,
it's weird. I'll watch it when I get up. I'm not getting up after.
Yeah. So I think some of these are probably quite easy to call, and other ones might be quite close. So looking forward to that. Okay, so. Patreon time. So we'd like to thank all you guys and girls for sponsoring the network, kind of helping us get all the goodies out to you, pay for our StreamYard, and upgrading people's equipment. So we have Ben Porter, Griffin Campbell, Sean Fear, Ian Seavey, Rene Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, Leo Hernandez, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Dan Lee, Dini Martin, Stephen Crett, Jason Nelson, Big Fern, King Zachary V, Caesar Mariquin, Eddie Mendez, Eric Ruiz, Mario Cortez, Stephen Purchase, Sean Yahtzee, Scott Bradley, Jessica Contreras, Stephen Maria, Stanley, and Lord Voldemort. So if you want to join the Patreon, we've got 3 tiers. Sweet Angel is $5 a month. Certified Crispy is $15 a month. And the new Water Guy, $25 per month. Sliding scale, so the Sweet Angel gets you a sticker a month. The Certified Crispy gets you a certificate, the stickers, and figure fix assistance from Zach. And the Water Guy is all of the previous benefits plus a poster, and you will paint a sculpt for them, 1 per year.
Yep.
Yeah, and they are responsible for any postage to and from and customs fees if applicable.
The dreaded import fees.
Yeah.
Just mark it low value and you should be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the December Patreon benefits, we've got the window cling, which I believe you've got in hand. You're able to say whether. Yeah.
I haven't tried sticking one on a window yet.
The Detective Dean button, the holiday card, a holiday sticker, or Christmas, as we like to say in this country. But then, holiday is all encompassing. It doesn't offend anybody. I think
it's Merry Christmas. It's Christmas over here. We have a fucking Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because there was some discussion about us all taking photos of each other and doing some Photoshop, and I think the response wasn't very positive. So they just went, "Fuck it, let's just use a picture from Manny's wedding."
I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. It was everyone was going to go over there for a photo, so I stopped listening because for us to go over there for a photo, it's a very long commute. And after that, I switched off to it, so I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And then I know someone said something about Photoshop, and I was like, I fuck knows what's going on.
It was like you have to take it in portrait mode on an iPhone, and you have to have a white background behind and all this thing. And then
it's weird because Zach messaged me and said, "Yeah, you have to be topless on a beach." It was really weird.
Yeah,
really weird. I don't know what he's done with the photo though. I'm not sure.
It was too precious to share.
Probably. I bet it's a really well used photo at this point.
So if you're in the Patreon, you may get a picture of a semi-naked Ian thrown in as a bonus with these, but these are what you're definitely getting. So
think of Jabba the Hutt with nipples.
And hairy.
Yeah. Jabba pre-shave.
Okay, do you want to take us through the rest of the network?
Yeah, so we have auctions done, finished for this year. Yep. That's where the American guys auction off their crap and make lots of money. And then we got Collecting Weekly, which is the flagship show. Yeah. Collecting Rarities, which, as the title suggests, is the rarer side of collecting. Small Talk, where they talk about the smaller scale. The Joy of Hobbying, which are videos of Zach tinkering. Only Fools and Collecting, us, the jewel in the crown. Collecting Comics, which is all about collecting comics. After Dark, which is all hardcore Dutch German pornography. And Creeps Are Us, which is our guy Manny on the scarier things that we collect. So that is it. That is the network. That is us. We got a fair bit going on, to be fair. Yeah, we have. So enjoy. Watch the rest. It's good. I think you've got Small Talk next week if Dylan has recovered.
The Rona.
So get well soon, mate.
First network colleague that we know of to have contracted and hopefully, by the looks of it, survived the Rona.
Hopefully. I mean, we haven't heard from him for a few days.
Get well soon.
I think he's recovering. They're meant to record next week. Obviously, you've got Collecting Weekly, which is normally Wednesdays, so that will be on. Then everyone else kind of slots in between. So busy few weeks. And then we're also recording next week, but you will see that one in end of December, New Year's Eve.
Yeah, so that's
We are
recorded for New Year's Eve show. So the next one will be our last one before Christmas, which will be the 17th. I might wear a Christmas hat because it'll be our Christmas episode.
Yeah, I'm not. But yeah, so yeah, one more before Christmas.
Yeah,
which would be handy. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you ever so much, and we will see you
on the next
time.
show.
Shalom.
Night all.